North America Central area. This is Dave Card. I am your Innovate Institute rep, and I'm here with Jared Searle. Super excited to be with him. Jared and I get to work together every Thursday night. We're here at the Institute teaching and growing and learning so much together. But could you introduce yourself, Jared, real quick to everybody?
Sure. What do you want to know? Actually, I should have asked it before. So live here in the Denver area. Dave and I are at the Institute. We have an institute that caters to about 23 universities, colleges, and schools. But for that reason, they've combined all of them together. This stake leadership has combined all of those together in one location. And we meet unitedly. There's 11 stakes that we meet together. So that's the program, and that's more important than me. So anyway, that's where we're at. And usually right now, this is the kind of the slow semester, right, of the 3 semesters. We're up to about 110, 115 each week that we've got. No, attending. Yeah. Enrollment, our enrollment is interesting because our enrollment is, I don't know if you have this, maybe it's different at universities, but our enrollment is like this. We have new people enrolling every single week. So by the end of the term, we'll have 300 people enrolled and still have about 110 or 125 that are attending. So this gap goes like this as we hit the end of the term. So that one's an interesting one for us. We're excited for this summer because summers are big when we have a lot of people coming home from missions or back from universities and stuff. And we usually hit closer to 200, even 250 at times we've had. So it's our fun time.
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
So this podcast, we want to focus in on senior workshops. Many of you have tried senior workshops, and we've tried them. We've done some things here at the Institute, and this isn't a podcast to demonstrate that the way we're doing it is the right way. It's just teaching principles of what we've learned about senior workshops, and then hopefully translating them for individual and adapting the needs of your students in your program. So
we can tell you some wrong ways too.
We've learned a lot, successes and failures.
Yeah.
So, but we're excited to share with you some of these things, and as you consider your workshops that you're preparing, or how to transition seniors into Institute, there's a lot to it. So Jared, what could you share with us about what processes we have tried in the past and where we're leaning towards this year?
So and maybe this leads into that idea of some things that don't work. And let me say that it's never been a failure. We've never had a catastrophic failure with any of this, but we've done some things to help. The end goal is to help our graduating seniors transition comfortably into Institute and get them involved. We've done some things in the past where we've done some senior nights where we have the seminary teachers bring them all in. We've had visits to senior classes where we have people go and enroll them, including teachers and peers and others. The fascinating thing that we found about that is that we've had really good enrollment where seminary teachers get their students enrolled, and we can have 80 or even 90 students seniors enroll in Institute, and literally 3 will come, or 4 will come, and or we'll have a senior night where we have 80 students come and they have an experience there, but then literally 3 or 4 continue to come during the summer. Yep. And so we found that wasn't a really productive way of approaching it for us. So we slowly moved into saying, all right, let's create a senior workshop during this, right at the end of their senior year. Let's create a small training that we can have for them that's just for them. Mm-hmm. And we've had really good attendance with that over the last, I think it's been about 4 years now. Maybe 3 years, 4 years that we've done that, where we've had just the senior class and the seniors show up for the workshop, and we have senior leadership, we have senior activities. They actually have, so it's isolated, right? We've had the seniors by themselves, basically, while we do this in either a quiet part of the building where we're in, or even the adjacent building, because we have 2 buildings in the same parking lot.
Right.
So let's see what else. And then we've done usually kind of some welcome to Institute night to help transition and connect them in with with some of the older folks. It's fascinating because, you know, we, as you do, I'm sure you hear some similar things. We hear this story quite often as we hear the story of Institute. Some potential Institute students say, everybody there's so young, it's gross, it's weird. And then others, you know, will say, everybody there's so old, it's gross, it's weird, you know. So there's got to be this normalizing of the different age groups and what's taking place there. Interestingly, do you want to lead into what we're doing this year? Kind of,
Let's do it. Let's jump in there.
So we had kind of this serendipitous thing that took place this year as we worked with priesthood leaders, and they said, these are the times that we want to do it at because it meets the needs of our graduating seniors. So we've got this 4-week course, and it falls, interestingly, right between terms where we're teaching. So kind of overlapping the end and beginning of terms and right in the middle.
So end of April, beginning of May.
So our window is, last 2 weeks in April, first 2 weeks in May.
Yeah.
And for us, it turned out that that's actually our vacation time, right? So this was kind of, we're like, who's going to teach this? Who's going to not take a vacation so we can do this? And as we were meeting as a faculty, it was really funny as we were talking about it. One of our missionaries said, I see where you're going with this. And I said, actually, I have no idea where I'm going with this. What's your solution? And Ken says, I think you're seeing that we need to have, you know, Institute students teaching this, somebody that's close to their age. And all of a sudden it exploded and our conversation took off. Now, this being said, we've never done this before, right? But we really feel good about this and it's going the right direction. So we've communicated with our 11 stake presidents. We've requested some good near peer teachers that we're working on training. Dave and I are putting together some curriculum for the 4 weeks so that they don't have to create everything. We're going to train them and help them to get them prepared. And we're focusing on a couple people that have gone to school or you know, have gone to university, people who are preparing for missions, people who are on missions. We actually have at least two service missionaries that'll be helping teach. And then we've got people that are just returning from their missions. And so we've got this group that's like right in the throes of what most of these seniors are heading towards immediately. And so they're really excited to be teaching the seniors, and the seniors we've talked with are really excited for this group to be teaching them. Yeah. So that's really excited. We're really excited about that. And the stake presidents have been really, really thrilled about this too. And anyway, we're looking forward to this one. We'll have to give a report on how it goes, you know, afterwards.
To see the impact of it. But tell us about the link leaders too. Are there link leaders as well that take part in this whole process? Yeah. So some of you may be familiar with like the transition between junior high and high school. Many schools create what are called link leaders. Regionally here, they call them link leaders. They may have a different name somewhere else, but the idea is that you've got somebody that is in high school that's connecting with the freshmen or the incoming freshmen to help to get them transitioned and comfortable in there. So there's these peers, again, near peers, friends. So we've opted to select at least 2 link leaders or peers, also graduating seniors from each stake, a male and female. And if the stake is a little larger, we've asked them to supply some more if they choose to. So we'll have 22 or 25 link leaders that are peers with them currently. They're the ones that are graduating as well. And the stake presidents are in most cases selecting people that are already serving on the youth council. So they already have that leadership role. They're already connecting with the other youth in their stake. And their job is to be that connector to help not only invite them, coordinate rides, get them there, but most importantly, and this one's super important, be there when they arrive, you know, so they see somebody and they're not feeling foreign and young and so forth. But we're even talking about getting t-shirts, you know, so they knew who to look for, right? So that you know what to anticipate when you get there. The link leader, I don't know what we'll look like, but I think we'll probably do something like that still. Yeah, that's awesome. Just this innovation that we haven't tried before, right? Just this idea of these near peers teaching and also linking all of these seniors back to the Institute, feeling that there's a space of belonging for them, right? Which is really exciting. And you said we got to talk about the curriculum too, kind of the different classes that we hope to have happen during these 4 weeks. Yeah. Share with us those. Yeah. Before I do that, can I add one more part to this, please? I think there's a principle. You know, this pattern, we're excited about it. For us, it's going to work. I'm really confident it's going to work because we're combining with priesthood leaders and going about it the right way. We feel really good about it. We felt really inspired as we moved on this. That being said, this isn't the way, and I think it's really important to mention that. I'm working with some others in my cluster group
that are in different areas regionally, and their approach is different. It has to be to meet the needs of their seniors because there's distance or the demographics, whatever it is, and there's differences. And so one of the things I've been settling on, I think is really important, is to recognize this. If whatever we do for seniors, whether it's online or whatever the case may be, if we have this hope or anticipation that we do this senior thing, and then they just automatically show up and join the rest of Institute, I think we're missing the mark on that. We've got to think of purposefully some way to coordinate our current Institute students with the potential Institute students. There needs to be a very normal and natural connection so that it's not, hey, we're done now, go there and you don't know anybody, or they're all old and weird, or whatever the case may be. But rather we feel comfortable with them. We know who they are. Let's go. It's easy now. And so I think that principle is one that we've got to navigate as we make plans, whatever your plans look like. That's a principle we've got to help them on.
That's great.
So curriculum, as I visited with a number of stake presidents and solicited some feedback of some of the needs and some of the concerns they're having with this age group. President, what's on your mind most? What's your greatest concern? What do you fear for? What are you concerned for? What do you observe? Some of those things with graduating seniors. Let's put together a curriculum that will meet those needs. And so we landed on 4 topics in those 4 weeks. And let me share those with you. In fact, I'm gonna bore you. Maybe we can even put this up in your fancy editing digitally.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But let me just bore you with these. I'm going to read them to you really quick. Excuse me. Our first week, we're going to be talking about "Hear Him!" ! Continuing to receive revelation. And the focus was not on, hey, learn to receive revelation. We anticipate that they already know how, but let's continue receiving revelation. You're making the 5 most important decisions in your upcoming next 5 years, potentially. Practice in talking with Heavenly Father and loving and leaning on the scriptures. So the intent, again, is not a presentation on these, but a workshop. So there will be practice in every one of these areas. 15 minutes or so that we'll learn a principle, we'll practice, we'll try these things. So again, very hands-on, as it were.
Can I just insert something there too? With all of the innovating that I've had the privilege of helping and overseeing and blessing all of these workshops that individuals have tried, they've seen time and time again that if a workshop just looks like a class at Institute, then it's not going to be effective for what the intent is. A workshop needs to look different. And so if we're calling it a workshop, it's got to look and feel more like a workshop, that they are practicing, that they are, it's not sit down, discuss, like we might see in a regular Institute class. It's hands-on practicing, like you said. So I just want to insert that's what we hope it becomes.
Yeah. In fact, I'll add this. One of the things we're excited about is that we're hoping to have 7 to 8 teachers. And you heard we're doing 4 weeks. And the intention there is that each week, several of the teachers will have a role in actually teaching or leading the workshop, but the others will have a role almost like an FSY counselor, that they're there with that group, connecting, modeling, answering, showing, asking, following up, and making sure the workshop really works. That the hammers are striking, that we're doing some things there. So I think that'll be useful as well to get some people connecting to make sure that workshop really happens. Second week, we're going to be doing how am I going to afford life? Acting in faith, stewardship, and building God's kingdom. Paying an honest tithe and being generous offerings, and then create and live by a budget. That's our second week. So we'll talk about some practical things. We'll work on a budget. We'll actually create a budget in some ways and help them get ready to save for missions, save for college, and budget those things so they're prepared for it. Third week is keeping the covenant path with joy. It'll be focus on keeping covenants, making covenants, helping others move towards covenants, and serving in the temple. The 4th week is going to be emotional self-reliance, facing challenges with faith in Jesus Christ, owning stress, and some coping skills. And I'll just add this: most of this, we're not creating the curriculum for this. We're drawing from tools that we have already. My guess is you can already be thinking of some of these, like, what were you thinking?
Self-reliance course.
Self-reliance course. There's the YSA self-reliance course that really leans on several of these. There's the gospel and the productive life that pulls from several of these. So the creation of these really is just kind of an accumulation of pieces from other lessons and other content that we already have.
Love it. So I think we've given a good idea of what the innovation looks like and what we're trying to produce based on listening sessions and needs and focused on what these young adults and these graduating seniors are hoping to have in their transition. So with all that, I think we need to address, and you've already addressed one of them, just the principles behind what we're learning, right? Because innovation is all about learning. What have we learned in the process of the failures in the past, so-called failures, but what we've learned and how we've gotten to this actual part of what we're going to do. What principles would you say are most important?
That's a great question. So again, I want to emphasize the things that we've done in the past have not been failures. You know, some of it we've learned as we've remodeled the prototype and done some things. We could have never discovered some things had we not gone through some of that experience.
Yeah.
And again, I think of this last year, we had probably our greatest enrollment as we had a senior class, and then we did some things to to migrate them into Institute. We probably have had about 25 that stayed through the summer, and we've got a number of them that are still with us because they're going to school here locally and so forth. So I think our best years, so all those things built on what we've done in the past to be where we're at. I think one of the principles I would emphasize is this: we're not going to land on the secret sauce. You know, this is perfect. We nailed it. Let's do this again every single year. Yeah. I think we need to continue the conversations with graduating seniors, with priesthood leaders, and adapting and adjusting and fixing some things so that it's meeting those needs every single year. I think the pattern could in many ways remain the same. You know, the way we go about it, but content will need to change. Then again, even we need to be flexible enough to change the pattern if we need to. Let's see, as far as innovating, I would also add, we bounced this with the faculty, and that was a really important one. So we had, what did we have the day when we started fleshing this out? Let's see, there are 2, 4, 6, 7, 8 of us, I think there, maybe 9 of us in our faculty meeting. And even the teachers that had nothing to do with this course, that weren't, they're not teaching it, they're not preparing for it or anything. We valued their input, and we counseled as a council on that, and we really received some great insight. So council as a faculty, and if you're in a small faculty, we've also visited with other colleagues in other areas in our region and pulled some ideas and got some thoughts and gleaned some things. And so that council and listening to those individuals has been very helpful too.
What role have priesthood leaders played in all of these changes and things that you've done as well at the Institute?
So I think we've already acknowledged the fact that, communicating with them and kind of meeting the needs of what they desire, that's been a really important part. That being said, they're also seeing is changing perception of it's strengthening perceptions of Institute, rather than, hey, Brother Cyril, Brother Card, what can I do to help you? I'll support you 100%. The language is changing of, this is what we need. Can you please?
Right.
And that's really nice, because that shift from we're going to support you and your institute to this is your institute president, and we're here to help you has made a difference in our strengthen some of that relationship that we had. We've had that, but it's strengthening that. Yeah. What's nice is I'm getting lots of feedback and emails from stake presidents, open communication, with feedback, and also soliciting ways to invite and interact with the seniors. And so that council is coming back, and they're creating some ideas, and they're giving some counsel about some things that we could do differently to connect with seniors. Yeah. And then of course they're doing the advertising, right? They're doing the reaching, because frankly, what we do is we go to visit a senior seminary class, or as we send emails on WISE to parents or whatever the case may be, frankly has probably less impact than a priesthood leader saying, hey, here's what's going on. We do that. I'll add one more thought too, that our missionaries in our council, in the council here, our missionaries decided they're putting a letter together describing the senior class and what we're doing, the senior workshop and what we're doing. And they're distributing that through all the stakes relief societies. Their idea behind that was, and I said, let's give it a try. I think it's a good idea. Their idea is moms in many ways plan the calendars in the house and help get people places and those kind of things. And so, not to discount fathers, that's not the intention, but you know, that voice can be a second voice to this and helping this take place. Different than just a bulletin note. You know, this is a
Right.
letter directly to parents.
Right.
So
Love it. So again, the hope of this discussion is that we're generating, all of us across the area, ideas of what we're doing to help these seniors transition to Institute. There's so many things that we've seen the gamut of what people have tried. But the key is that we're listening to our audience. We're seeking to identify those needs. We're counseling with priesthood leaders, with faculty. We're counseling with the young single adults themselves, and seeking to provide a solution that allows them to feel this sense of belonging, and a curriculum that is tailored to their needs, specifically that's relevant to help ease the burdens that they're feeling as they transition to adulthood. So any last final thoughts or comments as others in the area are considering what they're doing to transition seniors in their institutes?
no, I don't think so. I think I've given probably everything. I'll maybe just add one more thought. I'm sorry, I mean, this is just off the cuff. I think I've given those. I'll add one more just for consideration. You know, it's the people that are in transition that really have a need and have a desire. I'll just throw, I know this isn't the conversation, I'll just throw it out right here and just think about it. Returning missionaries are also in a transition to come home and to be of service in this class or connecting with the Institute in a meaningful way. But in council with priesthood leadership as well, they've asked that we start this was their request, could we start a 3 to 4 week workshop for returning missionaries, so we can help them with some of the same kind of transition things that these seniors are going through. So I don't mean to throw a cog in and say, let's talk about something else. But what I'm saying is a lot of the same things we're talking about with seniors apply as well to returning missionaries. And there may be some, you know, some value in looking at that as well and seeing what can we offer them.
That's great. Love it. Wonderful. Thank you. Please reach out again to me if you have any questions, or if you want to try any sort of innovation. I can link you with others in the area that have tried similar things, and we're just excited to help these seniors feel this sense of belonging and of relevance, so that they can become more deeply converted to the Savior. That's what it's all about. So thanks, everybody.
Thanks.